Merry Christmas and good morning, or afternoon or evening. I don't know when you're watching this. What you're about to watch is my own personal struggle with Christmas. Well, not necessarily with Christmas, but rather with the disconnect that I see with Christmas and what the Bible tells about Christ, and with what I refer to as the darkness I see all around. If Jesus was supposed to bring peace, then why do we not see it? If Emmanuel means God with us, then where is he? This is essentially my meditation on this conflict. Written in a kind of childlike manner, together we'll look at this, and by the end, we'll have an answer. This reading takes about 25 minutes, so you may want to pause this and get yourself a hot cocoa. Merry Christmas and enjoy. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's been a whole year. That day we've been waiting for is finally here. Such a wonderful season. So much excitement in the air. There's music, there's lights and decorations everywhere. Songs about joy, songs about peace, songs about kindness, and a pear tree and 6 geese. 2 weeks with no school. The kids are so excited, though the parents may seem a little less delighted. Good morning, young children. Come one and come all. Listen to the story of the baby so small. Over 2,000 years have passed on this earth, yet we still celebrate the anniversary of his birth. We call this day Christmas because it's all about Christ. I'll say it again, because it's all about Christ. The angel told Joseph his name is to be Jesus, because we are bound by our sin, and it is him who frees us. These things were to fulfill Isaiah's prophecy is thus, that he would be called Emmanuel, which means God with us. But what does this mean? Is it more than just words? Or is it just a way to say, this is how things would be preferred? Christmas lights illuminate the night, but light doesn't help the blind. Bad things still happen, and so it seems the dark doesn't mind. If God is with us, then how can these be? If God is with us, then shouldn't it be the good that we see? Songs of peace on earth abound, yet bad things happen all around. Goodwill to men, the lyrics read, but that good just can't be found. If God is with us, then where is this goodwill? If God is with us, then with us this good should dwell. And what are we to think when people act so beastly, and mom and dad watch the news to see Tweedledum hurt Tweedledee? If God is with us, then why are so many bad? If God is with us, then why are so many sad? Every day someone cries, and every day someone dies, and even though the sun will rise, tomorrow will be filled with lies. If God is with us, then why the evil hearts? Why the constant hatred? Where does the goodness start? Goodwill toward men, the song contends, but most only extend that to close family and friends. I point my finger, yet there I see 3 more fingers are pointing back at me. If God is with us, shouldn't these lyrics ring true? Shouldn't our goodness be easy to view? Or rather, it's my goodness that should be easy to see, but it's easier to say our instead of just me. Credit cards maxed, bank balances drop, my temper grows short as I continue to shop. I'm full of myself and don't care for others. Many times I don't even think of my brothers. What good is a tree surrounded by presents when just next door a friend's parent isn't present? What good is a table with a feast for a king when a household nearby has almost nothing? What good is a nativity with Christ in the manger when even my neighbor I treat as a stranger? I know this seems like a discouraging letter, but don't quit reading yet. It does get better. It seems disingenuous to ignore the real pain, to acknowledge only the good again and again. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's been a whole year. I'm feeling discouraged now that it's finally here. A time usually full of wonderment and bliss and delight, but I'm full of the dark amid the music and lights. There's still songs about joy, still songs about peace, still songs about kindness, the same pear tree and those geese. But what if God with us means something contrary to what we believe, that everything is merry, and instead gives us hope in times of despairing, and means God is listening when we offer up our praying? Good morning, young children. Come all and come one. Let me tell you the story of when God gave us His Son. His Son is the Christ, Christmas's first part, the reason for this season. Please take that to heart. He is the Son of God, and at the same time, God too. This is confusing for many, and maybe to you, but no more confusing than Him being fully man while also fully God. Think about that if you can. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and according to Scripture, the Word also was God. Then the Word became flesh. That is to say, the Word became a man. We know Him to be Jesus, and His birth was all part of God's plan. In Him was life, and that life they called light, shining in darkness, brightening the night. Perhaps that's the reason Christmas lights seem so numbersome. They help to remind us it's the dark that is troublesome. For darkness in light is not darkness at all, but rather the light reveals truth to all. That is, light reveals truth to all who would see, but one who keeps their eyes closed stays blind as can be. So even though light has come to the earth, through the miracle we call the virgin birth, bad things can still happen. Just take a look around. It won't take very long before sadness is found. I'm not saying one should, or rather should not, consider the bad or sad or mad thoughts. But if God with us means we are in the light, if we open our eyes, we shall learn we have sight. And if sight is the gift God with us should mean, then the bad is not gone, but rather is seen. And what about songs of love, joy, and peace? Why, these are lights for the ears, so God's goodness will increase. These songs point to Jesus and give us direction, so we look not without, but at our own reflection. We now look within. This direction may seem new. We now look within to see God with me and with you. But the gift of God with us is more than just sight. It's not just His light, but His incredible might. For in the beginning, at the start of all time, it was through the Word that the world was designed. And not just this world, with its skies and oceans, but through Jesus, God put the entire universe into motion. It was Jesus who gave us the moon and the sun, and Jesus who offers life to everyone. So when life gets you down and you feel all a loneliness, remember God is with you in all of His holiness. So if you are with God and God is with you, there is no trouble you cannot get through. I'm not suggesting that everything is all fine and great-tastic. No, it's often quite difficult to remain enthusiastic. Jesus Himself was weary and cried. On a terrible cross He suffered and died. But on the third day He arose from the grave. So when they came to visit, they found an empty cave. This resurrection post-mortem, what a beautiful thing, offered freely from God, so even death has lost its sting. If God is with you, then what have you to fear? Not sickness, nor death, not the tip of a spear. No hole is too deep, no mountain too grand, no nothing exists that can keep you from God's hand. So what does this mean? What should you do if you hear God with us and believe that it's true? Here's an experiment you can try on your own, at your own pace, from your own home. Pull close the curtains, turn out all the lamps, make sure it's nice and dark, if not cold and damp. Then bobble and hobble your way through the rooms, tippity-zippity-bippity-boom. Within just a minute, or possibly two, even if you're careful, some bad things you will do. You wander around, starting off slow, start to get comfortable, and then stub your toe. The pain is so big for a digit so small. You reach down without thinking and then start to fall. Then on your way down, since you still can see nothing, you bump your melon too hard on the corner of something. Wow, that was quite uncomfortable pain hurtable. Try not to repeat that and do it againable. You can't help but wonder what that awful thing was that hurt in your toe. What was the cause? And that knock on your noggin, the pain is quite high. What did that, and why? You get back on your feet and continue your trek and hope that you don't get in another wreck. Then something small and quite hard your foot lands upon. The pain has returned just when you thought it was gone. Now you hop on one foot and land on something entirely squishy. It's cold and gooey and, dare I say, mushy. It oozes and goozes and squeezes through your toes. What this awful stuff is, nobody knows. It's only been a few minutes, but you've decided you're done. You can't stand this not seeing, and you turn the lights on. Your eyes begin to adjust to this new illumination, and the things that you see give you new consideration. The pain in your toe that brought you to the ground was not caused by something evil, but rather a bookcase you found. And that bookcase did nothing, just stayed in its place while you swung your foot right into its base. That knock on your head that left you unstable was caused when you fell and you hit your head on a table. The table was there where it was supposed to be. The real culprit was your fight against gravity. You see, some things look bad when really they're not. The light helps us to see what the darkness cannot. And this light, we remember, is the baby Jesus, born Christmas morning, a gift that should please us. Scripture reminds us it's not just for you or for me, but the light and the life are for everybody. And if this gift of Christmas is for everybody, then it's for those you don't like, even your enemy. And if God is with those you really don't like, then how can you be against them while you're in the light? It's like knocking your head on the table or kicking the bookcase and getting angry at them for being in their place. It's a matter of seeing them the way God sees them, and in the right light, we're not so quick to condemn. But back to your house, that small and hard thing that you stepped on with force and tears it did bring, turns out that was a Lego left out on the floor, even though they weren't supposed to be out anymore. And that thing that you stepped on that was cold and ooey and squishy and mushy and ever so gooey, why, that was an ice cream dropped on the ground. It was just a matter of time before that was found. You see, there's time in life. If you're guided by light, you'll see something wrong and you'll be able to make it right. Our job in these times is not to simply evade, but to make things better so God's light is displayed. If you have 2 coats and your neighbor has none, according to Jesus, you should give him one. This is what God did on that blessed Christmas morn. He saw we had no light, then Jesus was born. He gave us his light, his life free from sin, so that we may do good deeds that come from within. And we do these good deeds not out of fear. No, we do these good deeds because our love is sincere. Just one more time, I return your attention to your room with lights on for a final mention. Even in light, I might need to remind you to take a look around you and see who is behind you. Your Father was there when you felt all alone. He's there all the time, though often not known. This is the Christmas promise. You can believe that it's true. Your Father is there. By that I mean God is with you. Have confidence then, even when times are hard. Have confidence then, for God is standing guard. And God does not sleep. No, he does not get weary. He's given no reason for you to be leery. He stepped down from his throne and suffered unto death, even death on a cross. He gave his final breath. He said, "It is done. My job here is finished." Then he gave his last breath with his power undiminished. And he proved it was true to you and to me. On the third day he rose. Over death he had victory. So think about this. Think hard and long. The one on your side is really that strong. But suffering and pain he spared not even himself. So expect life to be hard for yourself and myself. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's been a whole year. But what should we think now that it's finally here? Just as we bumbled, stumbled, drop, bop, through our house in the dark, only with light did it stop. Recensed and renewed, after we vented, disoriented fusion finally relented. There will be times that are good, and times that are bad, and times that are joyous, and times that are sad. And whether you see him or not, through them all God is there. Find peace, my dear children, in your times of despair. Find peace in his arms, in his loving embrace. Find peace, my dear children, in his unending grace. And celebrate this morning for the truth in the word. Sing songs of joy and peace, and let your words be heard. Go and do good, because good has been done. Live a life of sacrifice because of God's Son. Merry Christmas to all who might hear these rhymes, and may the joy, peace, and confidence be with you in all times. Thank you so much for joining me this Christmas. I pray your day is peaceful and filled with joy. If we were at church, the pastor would probably conclude with some type of blessing, like from number 6. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. So I'll say the same thing, but in my own way. May the big man in the sky not make you cry, but give you so much with his tender touch, and protect you from harms in his loving arms. And when he looks at you, may the things that you do make him smile oh so big, like a fish jig magig. A smile big and rough with just the right stuff you can't help but find. He's so much more than kind. And may you abide always at his side, under the wings of the King of Kings, so that even in pain, or hail, sleet, snow, or rain, you'll be covered in peace like a comforting fleece. Have a very Merry Christmas and a joyous New Year.